So, today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the whole creative process. We're going to follow the journey of one single idea, from just a playful thought all the way to a massive universe spanning story. And you'll see it ends up with a mission that is surprisingly powerful. Every big idea starts with a little moment, right? A little spark. And this is that moment. It's that feeling a creator gets when they realize they're onto something big. It's the very beginning of a journey that's going to bend time, space, and a whole lot of imagination. So let's see how it all got started. Okay, so where does a universe even begin? It's not always with, some complex physics equation or a grand plan. Sometimes it starts with something way more fun, a simple mix of nature and some seriously high technology. The very first seeds of this whole universe get planted right here. I mean, check this out. On one hand, you have these kind of beautiful organic ideas, swarms of secret agent butterflies that can change their shape and just glide silently through space. And then on the other hand, you've got pure military hardware. Stealth ships based on the legendary F-117, covered in these slick, liquid solar panels. It's this weird, cool mix that becomes the foundation for everything else. A good idea almost never stays simple, right? The creator starts layering in all this new tech, but the inspiration isn't coming from textbooks. Nope, it's coming from some of the most iconic sci-fi movies ever made. And this is where the universe really starts to get its personality. And here we have the first huge technological jump. The creator just tosses out the idea of a standard ship hull. And what replaces it? A self-healing, programmable liquid metal skin. Yeah, pulled straight from the T-1000 in Terminator 2. All of a sudden, these aren't just ships anymore. They're practically indestructible. So once you have that level of power, it leads to this massive shift in thinking. This isn't just a fleet of ships. It's an apex predator. And that's where the Godzilla principle comes from. The whole idea is to create a force that is so dominant, so awe-inspiring, that it's basically on a god-tier level. It is the undisputed king of the jungle. All right, so let's look under the hood and see how all these pieces click together. You've got the F-1117 stealth design, a magnetic plus-minus shield that literally just bounces threats away. You've got that T-1000 liquid metal skin. And then there's one more piece of pop culture inspiration, remote piloting. Just like the Sovereign Fleet in Guardians of the Galaxy 2, it means no human is ever in the line of fire. So, once you've built this godlike power, what do you do with it? This is where the creator hits a major ethical crossroads. How do you have an unstoppable force without, becoming the monster yourself? And this is the answer. It's a deep-seated curiosity and a respect for all life, no matter how different it is. The goal is not destruction, it's understanding. The creator really believes that even a simple bug has a purpose, a reason to exist. In that philosophy, it becomes the fleet's moral compass. And that whole philosophy gets baked right into a very strict protocol. Before any force is ever used, the fleet has this four-step handshake. It starts with a silent digital ping. Then it escalates to a visual holographic warning, then a direct verbal check, and finally, a non-lethal magnetic push. It is a masterclass in de-escalation. But let's make no mistake here, this kindness has a very hard limit. The rules of engagement are crystal clear. If some unknown ship ignores all four of those peaceful warnings and decides to open fire, well, the response is absolute, and it is final. And the absolute genius of their response is this. The fleet's defense is its offense. That magnetic shield doesn't just block an attack. It absorbs the energy, channels it right into its own capacitors, and then uses the enemy's own power to fuel an immediate, overwhelming counterattack. It is the ultimate return to sender. Okay, so the power is established, the ethics are clear, and now the story takes its most incredible turn. The creator realizes that this amazing technology doesn't have to be about fighting at all. The entire purpose of the fleet can shift from defense to creation. So the inspiration shifts again. It's less Godzilla and Terminator and way more Star Trek's optimistic vision. The mission becomes less about military power and more about this graceful, cosmic ballet, finding beauty and creating new life among the stars. I mean, with all the elegance of Gene Kelly dancing in the rain. So this new mission, it presents the ultimate engineering challenge. Can a fleet that was designed for stealth and defense actually be repurposed for planetary scale creation? Can it bring a dead world like Mars to life? All right, step one is to warm the planet up. The fleet rolls out these huge solar sails, not for power, but to act like a giant magnifying glass. They focus the sun's energy right onto the frozen polar ice caps, which releases trapped gases and kickstarts a greenhouse effect to create a thicker, warmer atmosphere. Now, this next step solves the biggest problem with trying to terraform Mars for real. The actual planet's atmosphere was stripped away by solar winds because it doesn't have a magnetic field. So the fleet deploys satellites to generate an artificial magnetosphere. It shields that fragile new atmosphere and lets it grow. And finally, the fleet's 3D printing ships get to work. They build biodomes right on the surface to grow all these oxygen-producing plants. And once the atmosphere is stable, those plants are used to seed the entire planet. The war machine has officially become a Genesis fleet. But even as the fleet becomes capable of creating entirely new worlds, the creator has one final, really powerful realization. The journey's ultimate purpose isn't out there in deep space. It's right back where it all started. And this is the question that changes everything. What good is it to build a new home on Mars if your original home is just falling apart? And with that, the focus of all this godlike technology turns inward, towards healing our own planet first. And suddenly, every single piece of that sci-fi tech gets repurposed. The atmospheric filters start pulling carbon from the sky. Those tiny butterfly drones begin cleaning plastic from the oceans. Solar relays beam down limitless clean energy. And the magnetic shields, they're used to stabilize weather patterns and protect our coastlines. The final mission couldn't be clearer. All the complex ideas, the pop culture inspirations, the ethical debates, it all comes down to this one simple, profound, and urgent goal. So, after a journey through space, time, and the wildest parts of the imagination, the ultimate priority becomes crystal clear. It's not about escaping our problems by conquering the stars. It's about having the guts and the creativity to solve them right here at home. This whole creative journey, from spy butterflies all the way to planetary healing, it leaves us with one really powerful question. It kind of forces us to ask ourselves, if we had that kind of incredible power, would we look for a new world to build, or would we turn our attention to fixing the one we already have?